down to, just send it to drop off. You went over this way a little?
No, it's got to go up above this.
I know. We'll then bring it over?
Yep.
Okay. Push back the other way on the casket.
There we go.
Okay, good.
There we go.
All right.
There we go. Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
gentlemen.
Underneath there.
I'll pull this on. You okay then?
Yeah. Tommy, you want to move this way? Yeah, we got to move this way. 1, 2, 3.
I'm good. Okay. Yeah.
Hello everybody. On behalf of the Ferguson and Nash family, I would like to thank you all for joining us this morning as they bid farewell to their beloved mom, Gloria, into her next flight into the Alpha Kingdom as she starts her journey to the next flight. Gloria was a daughter, she was a mother, she was a grandmother, and she was a great-grandmother. She was a teacher, she was an activist, she was an author, and she was a singer, and she loved life. We have a really small service for you guys this morning. We're going to start with a prayer read by Tiffany, Gloria's granddaughter, and an obituary which is going to be read by Gloria's stepdaughter, Gloria. And then there's going to be a writing that's going to be read by Gloria's grandson, Jonathan. After that, we're going to have a few minutes where if anybody would like to share anything about their life and memories of Gloria, you can come up and share their memories. And just please keep it to 2 minutes each. And then we're going to have the prayer for dead, which is going to be read. In the Baha'i faith, that prayer is obligatory prayer to be read at the burial site. And then we're going to have a moment of silence and we'll finish with a song.
It is with deep gratitude that I speak this word. Ever so grateful for the opportunity that we have been afforded to gather on today. Grateful for every life that is represented here, every family and connection that is here. Grateful for those who could not be here physically and for those who are gathered here on the other side of the veil. I know absolutely that God is. The power, the presence, the force of all life is God. There is no place the presence is not expressing, and know that it is fully expressing here and now. It is showing up as every aspect of this gathering. It is showing up as everyone who is present here. The omnipresence that is God is our very lives. I speak this word from my oneness with God and our union with each other. As we honor the life of my grandmother, Gloria Haithman, I know that she is now at one with all eternity. I speak a blessing upon her eternal life as she fully ascends beyond the limitations of this world. She has completed the work that she was here to do, and she has answered the call to return home. I speak a blessing over all who she has touched here, and I call it good and very good. I speak a blessing over all the lives that she has impacted, and I call it good and very good. I know that there are no ties or tethers holding her here, and she soars freely and without restriction beyond this physical world. I know that the love that she is has been planted in our lives and it flourishes. I know that the joy that she blessed this world with continues to expand, and the brilliant light that she has been on this journey shines in all of our lives. I celebrate the freedom that she lives in, liberated from this earthly realm and in blissful union with our Creator, God. Blessing the reality of this truth, I know that this word that I have spoken is complete and fulfilled even now. It is done. I declare as such by saying, and so it is, and I invite you to declare it with me and saying, and so it is.
And so it is.
Amen.
Amen.
Good morning, everyone. I'm deeply saddened to be here to pay my respects to a wonderful, wonderful lady. And I have been asked to read her obituary written in her own words. So we're going to speak in first person. I made my entrance on this plane of existence in Fayetteville, North Carolina on July 15, 1939. My parents were each beloved as an only child and had, along with both sets of parents, built a large house with 7 bedrooms in Fayetteville, which was the birthplace of my mother and my maternal grandmother. My father's family, which consisted of his mother, stepfather, and maternal grandmother, moved from Kansas City, Missouri to live there. Since my mother refused to go to the hospital for my delivery because she would have to go in through the back door, there I was, born at home. My one and only sibling was 12 years old at the time of my birth. Therefore, I enjoyed the distinction of being everyone's baby, and I must admit, I was somewhat spoiled. There were some interesting dynamics in my household because my father's family had a high level of Native American features, and my mother's family were all college educated. I learned a lot from each part of my family and feel fortunate to have known them. In different ways, they all exhibited affection for me. Music was always an important aspect of our family life. Everyone in my family participated in church choirs, and we actually would sing together a lot at family events or holidays. We had all the parts represented. My father singing in a deep, compelling baritone, my brother a glorious tenor, my mother and I did the soprano parts, to which my grandmother would harmonize with a rich, outstanding alto. I have sung in various choral groups ever since, such as the Baha'is, New World Singers, Baha'i Gospel Choir, and the Delta Sigma Theta Choralists. I was competitive with my brother. I made it my business to attempt to do things better than he did. He graduated in 6th place academically in his high school class, and I strived to be the valedictorian of my class, which I did. After graduating from E.E. Smith High School, I attended college at Hampton Institute in Hampton, Virginia, which is the place where my parents met when they attended school there. I, of course, have a fond, high regard for that institution. There is a residence hall on that campus named Virginia Cleveland Hall, in which my mother, my daughter, and myself have all lived in. We do plan to get at least one grandchild, which she did, Jonathan, right there, he's at Hampton, to attend, which would be the 4th generation to do so. She attended Hampton from 1956 through 1960, which was the beginning of the Civil Rights Movement. Other students and I, speaking in first person, participated in the sit-ins at the segregated Woolworth counters in Hampton. I majored in biology with a chemistry major with the idea of becoming a medical doctor or PhD. Since I'd been skipped over a grade in elementary school, I finished college at the age of 20 and had been encouraged by my parents to get my PhD by 23. As they would say, I could. However, I met a young man who was stationed in the Norfolk Navy base, and he changed my plans completely. With my parents' uneasy permission, I literally walked down one aisle out of college one month and up the wedding aisle the next month. He was also active in the civil rights movement. So together, we marched and participated in sit-ins and fighting Jim Crow laws in the South. We were married for 12 years and produced 3 beautiful sons and 1 beautiful daughter. Eventually, we moved to California, and after a few years, we divorced. I returned to the scene of my former success, namely school. I was fortunate to be able to get accepted in graduate school at the University of Southern California, and eventually obtained my master's degree in telecommunications as well as a PhD in urban studies. I was also able to get employment there and stayed there for 25 years, working first on faculty as a professor in mass communications and urban studies, and later as director of the Norming Topping Student Aid Fund. Since moving to California in 1969, I have been active in many community activities. I joined the Baha'i Faith and became deeply involved with it. It has provided me with the necessary spiritual guidance and inspiration to cope with many difficulties and changes. I remarried in 1987 and enjoyed a life with my husband until he passed away in 1991. I've been extremely lucky in my life in general. I was born into a loving family of talented, intelligent people. I've had the opportunity to obtain a superior education, and I've enjoyed friendships with various interesting and diverse people. I've been able to travel extensively to many parts of the United States and to many other countries such as South Africa. She loved Africa. Namibia, Soweto, Kenya, Egypt, Ethiopia, the Bahamas, Jamaica, Haiti, Canada, Mexico, France, England, Germany, Italy, Israel, the West Indies, Greece, and China. I enjoyed friendships with my 4 adult children and 2 adult stepdaughters, various in-laws and grandchildren. And I am now the matriarch of the family affectionately called Grandmommy Gloria, which is by far the greatest title I have ever attained. I have progressed over the years from being the greatly protected baby of my family to the protected, respected elder. I am grateful to God for all of the growth and events I have experienced in each stage of my life. I was not wealthy at all in terms of money, but I am extremely wealthy. She put in parentheses, this is her own words, guys, a billionaire, actually, in terms of family and friends. So she loved her family and friends. I know there is more to come, therefore, this is definitely not the end.
Amen.
Thank you.
Blessed is the soul which, at the hour of its separation from the body, is sanctified from the vain imaginings of the peoples of the world. Such a soul liveth and moveth in accordance with the will of its Creator, and entereth the all-highest paradise. The maids of heaven, inmates of the loftiest mansions, will circle around it, and the prophets of God and his chosen ones will seek its companionship. With them that soul will freely converse, and will recount unto them that which it hath been made to endure in the path of God, the Lord of all worlds. If any man be told that which hath been ordained for such a soul in the worlds of God, the Lord of the throne on high and of earth below, his whole being will instantly blaze out in his great longing to attain that most exalted. that sanctified and resplendent station.
As I mentioned, Gloria was an author. She wrote in a book called Equal Circles, Men and Women in the Baha'i Community. And I was going to read a little excerpt from that book. She writes, this is in quotes, "I really think that you have a minority complex, Gloria," my friend Maggie said to me over a decade ago. "What is that?" I asked. "Why would you say that?" "Well, you were born black in a white racist country, and you were born a female in a male-dominated society. The only thing that you had going for you in terms of being in the mainstream of America was that you were born in a Protestant denomination of Christianity, and yet you chose to become a member of this Baha'i faith, which is definitely not a major religion here. Maybe you have a complex about being in the minority. Maybe you don't feel comfortable being in the majority or anything. You really ought to think about this. This is only a mild example of the countless remarks that very close friends and family have made to me since I declared myself a Baha'i in 1969. Some express the sentiment that I have turned my back on my own people by joining the Baha'i community, rather than working within the Black church. My mother, a warm, wonderful woman who always showered me with attention and affection, was deeply disappointed by my change of religion, a feeling she carried with her until she died. After going to several Baha'i meetings, however, she did concede Baha'is are nice people socially. Such feelings coming from people with whom I've had meaningful relationships have occasionally made me stop to reevaluate just why I am a Baha'i. All I have to do is read from any of the Baha'i writings, though, and I am immediately reconfirmed. The answer comes through loud and clear. The visions that the Baha'i writings inspire in my mind and soul, the feelings they create in my heart, keep me going along this path. One that I was not born into, one that I have chosen to pursue. I didn't know Gloria very well, but in the last few years that I have been in Arizona, she was, as far as I could tell, she was very devoted to her faith. And she was an awesome singer. I'm going to read a letter from the Spiritual Assembly of the Baha'is of the City of Los Angeles that was written upon hearing of Gloria's passing. This is written to the family of Gloria. Dear friends, the Spiritual Assembly was saddened to learn of the passing of your mother, Gloria Haithman, from this earthly plane. We trust you are comforted by the great affection with which the Baha'i community regarded Gloria. Her years of service on this institution, as well as her career at USC, where she served as the director of the Norman Topping Student Aid Fund, and her leadership on campus, working with the USC Baha'i Club. Gloria felt a corresponding love for the Baha'i community, in which she lived and served, and especially cherished her family, including you, Vivian, your brothers, Howard Jr., David and John, your stepsisters, Gloria and Levita, as well as her great-grandchildren, Tiffany, Teron, Andrew, Jonathan, Avery, Austin, Jared, Jade, Justice, Nicole, Natalie, Sherry, Gigi, and Crystal. Her lifelong engagement in combating prejudice began in Fayetteville, North Carolina, where she attended the Hampton Institute and joined demonstrations protesting racial discrimination. She became acquainted with Reverend Jesse Jackson and his wife Jacqueline and their work in the resistance movement then taking place throughout the South. Comparisons can easily be drawn with the civil rights efforts of the 1960s and the Black Lives Matter movement of today. In 1993, the USC recognized Gloria's service by rewarding her the inaugural ProAct Award, which is Push Racism Out, Accept the Challenge Today, for courage and conviction. Following the uprising of 1992, Gloria co-founded the Institute for the Healing of Racism, which organized courses in how to address cure for the disease of racism. Sharing a lifelong passion for choral music, she also co-founded the Jerry Barnes Baha'i Gospel Choir, which toured Southern California during the 1990s. Perhaps we honor our loved ones best by keeping alive not only the memory of their physical presence in this world, but by manifesting the spiritual qualities they helped engender. The Persian poet Rami remarked on the pain one feels even as we aspire to transcendence. The wound is the place where the light enters you. While this letter is wholly inadequate to ease the loss you must feel, we console to you our deepest sympathy. Please be assured of our prayers for the progress of your mother's radiant soul. With loving thoughts and prayers, Spiritual Assembly of the Baha'is of Los Angeles. If anybody would like to share their memories of Gloria, please feel free to come up.
One thing I wanted to say that Gloria has been the member of a Glendale Assembly for so long. It's pretty hard to imagine she's not with us. Such a long history of service. One thing I thought was so remarkable about Gloria, that she was so resourceful. She had so many contacts in Arizona, Chicago, New York, Georgia. Every time we needed to plant an event in universities or go see a congressman or a senator for Baha'i affairs, she would just make a few phone calls and magically it would happen. She had that unique capacity and capability. She loved people and people loved him, and she was just one great woman with a big heart. Thank you.
I just want to say right quick, ooh, my sister, like I said, she must wanted me to come and be here, because I was going to see her Monday morning. As soon as I got up, I just got in town Sunday. Oh Lord, I just got in town, but it's okay, because she's helping me up there anyway. But honey, your mama, she got me and my husband singing all over this place. But they wouldn't let me in the choir. So I had to take and do the desserts and go to the store and everything, because Van wouldn't let me in the choir because I couldn't hold no tune. But they still took me everywhere. They went with me, LA, everywhere, girl. Oh, Lord. So that's your mama. And her history, Black history, telling me about W. Du Bois when he met her, the Baha'i faith, and talking about, because we didn't know if his wife was a Baha'i or not, and she had talked about how she met him and talked to him and everything else. So the Black history is awesome, especially with the Baha'i faith. So I just want to make sure your mama hears our voices today, because girl, we got to sing. That's all I know. She gonna hear my off-tone voice, that's for sure. Yeah. Oh, Lord. Oh, yeah.
Anybody else?
As I mentioned earlier, this is the prayer for departed in the Baha'i faith, and this prayer is said at the burial. O my God, this is thy servant and the son of thy servant, who had believed in thee and in thy signs, and set his face towards thee, wholly detached from all except thee. Thou art verily of those who show mercy, the most merciful. Deal with him, O thou who forgivest the sins of men and concealeth their faults, as beseemeth the heaven of thy bounty and the ocean of thy grace. Grant him admission within the precincts of thy transcendent mercy, that was before the foundation of earth and heaven. There is no God but thee, the ever forgiving, the most generous. Let Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. We all verily worship God. 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 Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. We all verily bow down before God. 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 Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. We all verily are devoted unto God. 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 Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. We all verily give praise unto God. 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 Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. We all verily yield thanks unto God. 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 Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. We all verily are patient in God. 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 We all verily are patient in God.
Adish, you're a man. Most name brand bars and body washes you rub.
Gloria, my Gloria. Things ain't been the same since you went away. Yeah. Gloria, my Gloria. Yeah.
This concludes our services this morning. And on behalf of the family, I want to thank you all for coming out. I know it's hot, and I know they appreciate you an awful lot. And remember, give them a call in a week or a month. Put it on your calendar. Make a little note. Give a call and say, hey, we haven't forgot you. We're thinking about you. We love you. That'd mean so much. Again, thank you for coming. Paul Bears, thank you for your help. We're not going to lower the casket until everyone leaves. Well, you're at liberty to leave whenever you're ready. Thank you.